started doing this because I wanted to rescue and help the bees and spread the word of how important the bees are and the pollinators. Every third bite of food you eat comes from the bees. You lose the bees, we're going to lose a third of our food. There's really no feral stock bees around anymore, you know, so because we've been importing so much. One of the things I like to do is I like to go into rural areas and go looking for swarms and trap swarms with these things we call bait hives, and then get those bees into my stock. And if, as long as, you know, I don't want a super aggressive bee. I don't want to be I walk by and they sting me, but you know, as long as they have all their other characteristics I want, then I start, you know, putting those into my stock. And so we put the queen cell in there. The queen hatches out. A few days later, she goes on her mating flight. She mates with 10 to 20 drones, which are the male bees. She comes back, and then she's mated for life. And then she'll start laying in about a week. And then in about 3 weeks to a month from when she starts laying, we make sure she's got a good brood pattern, that everything looks really good, and then that queen's ready to go wherever we want to go, and then we start the process over again. So you can see this is some freshly drawn out comb. This is there's a little nectar you can see on the outside. So when they gather their nectar, it has too much water, and so when they go gather the nectar, they have a honey stomach, separate from the regular stomach. So they gather the nectar, they put it in this honey stomach for basically flight on the way over. And then when it's in there, there's enzymes in there already starting to break down the nectar. Then generally they pass it to a receiver bee when they get in there, and then the receiver bee goes and puts it in these perfectly drawn out cells. They did all this. This is what they do on their own. And then they have the nectar like you see right here on these outside edges. And it has too much moisture. If they would cap that, it would mold. It would have, you know, problems. So what they do to ripen the honey is they fan it and they evaporate it down to exactly 17% moisture content. Then they put over this wax cap, and now that honey is sealed forever. You know, honey is antibacterial, antifungal. It will crystallize, like I said, but it's not bad. It's just changes form. Okay, here we have the classic honey halo. If they had any pollen, it would be next to it. And this, like a month ago, was full of this, which is brood. This is what we call cat brood. And if you look in there, you can actually see the young larvae in between. This time of year, they stop making so much brood because they don't need such a big workforce, and so like they're reducing. And so as this brood hatches out, they're backfilling it full of the nectar. And so they're turning this brood frame into a honey frame. It's a lot easier to find a queen. This one has pollen on her legs. See it? So you can see it has different colors. This is mainly in orange and yellow, but there's white pollen from the eucalyptus. The lavender will have purple pollen. Sometimes they bring in red pollen. They bring in yellow. They bring orange. Sometimes this is all the multicolors. It's really kind of cool. The honey is the carbohydrates. The pollen is the protein. So when they're making those winter bees, they start feeding them more of this bee bread that helps to fatten them up for the winter. See, these guys are down in there and they're eating the honey because we put the smoke. See how they're head down in there? Right there? Because we smoked them and they're trying to eat some food to get ready to go. Roasted garlic, it kind of has that texture, not quite as soft. It doesn't have the heat, but it's all raw. We've done nothing but put it in this jar and let it sit for like 6-7 months. It takes a long time to get there. But it's just super healthy. This is the power of two superfoods right here, honey and garlic. So I like to eat it every day for the health benefits. We, of course, cook with it. We put it on pizza, roasted chickens, those things. The honey itself becomes real liquidy, and so that's real easy to put in any kind of marinades, you know, salad dressings, meat marinades, that kind of stuff. We put it in stir fries, all that kind of stuff. So it's just a real fun thing to have, and like I said, it's just super healthy. And then we have it here with the 2 organic sticks of cinnamon in it. This is a much subtler taste. This is, you know, you really taste the garlic in here, in this honey. In the cinnamon honey, you taste it, but it's not like a real strong taste. And then we usually have ginger honey, but we all sold out this year. And so basically, this is the time of year I start making it all to sell next year. And so we're getting ready to do that. We just finished our fall harvest. We extracted over a ton this year. And so, you know, most of my honey has been jarred up, except for the stuff I'm going to be using to make these specialty honeys. And this is our creamed honey. And this is just a real nice creamy texture. It's nothing but raw honey in there. You know, all raw honey naturally crystallizes, and certain honey crystallizes real creamy. And once we find the ones that crystallize real creamy, then we blend that in, kind of like a mother if you're doing like a buttermilk pancake type thing. And so we just keep mixing that creamy honey into any of the other honey we have, and then it takes about a month, but it crystallizes in this real creamy texture. This is really good for toast. It's actually just nice to deal with. Instead of having runny honey that's always running off the spoon, or you need those funny shaped things, you can just use the cream honey to get it out. I love peanut butter and banana and honey sandwiches, stuff like that, so that's what we use that stuff for.